Just gonna put the microphone in. Hello, hello, hello. Kiana Sage here for Being in Sync 366 video series. This is alignment physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That's what we're talking about here today. I'm gonna see if people start to join on because this YouTube live started differently than most of the lives. We'll see if people start joining in here. We'll usually wait about 5 minutes before I start talking about the topic. Okay, Zeal. I wasn't sure this live came on differently than all the other YouTube lives, so welcome. You are the first one here. Thanks for being here. I usually wait about 5 minutes before I start the content for this Being in Sync 366 video series. And gosh, I think we're at 36 days left in the year. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Good to see you. Today we're talking about spiritual guidance system. And I'm just going to talk about 3 aspects. My day is going well, except for I was someplace where I couldn't get internet access, so I couldn't put this on the schedule for people to join in on. But here I am, dedicated and totally devoted to God, the natural laws, and being in service. That's what I'm here for. 366 days of doing these live videos. It has been a trip. Never did I ever. So Michelle, did you get a notification? Hello? Just wondering if the notifications are coming out because there was an issue a couple of weeks ago. Hello? And we do not, hey XYZ, good to see you. Ali, good to see you. I'm so glad. This is going to be a good session today for you, Ali. I hope yesterday's session was helpful and good. You got a notification. Okay, excellent. Because I know there was a time when notifications weren't going out. So the natural laws, that's a great question. And Sailor's Life, hello, thank you for being here. Oh, we have a mod today. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, Sailor's Life, for being here and modding and helping support this channel and being in service to humanity, which is the natural laws. So what are the natural laws? That's a great question. And I'm going to get back onto sharing the different principles of the laws, but essentially the natural laws are how energy is governed. So whether you're aware of the natural laws or not, all energy is governed by principles. And these principles are, if you follow them, they help you align physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Not to be confused with religion, because the natural laws are, depending on whatever you believe in, God or creator or source energy, these energies are how things occur. That's how things go from the unmanifest to the manifestation. And so we talk about that on this channel every day for this Being in Sync 366 video series. And if you have not heard of the natural laws, that doesn't surprise me, because most people don't know that this is how energy is operated. And so, you know, I don't go into deep dives on here. Obviously, I want to make this information accessible to the average person. And if you want to learn more, you can try one-on-one sessions with me or somebody else. But essentially, the practices that I give you here give you some way in which you can start, and you start to resonate at higher frequencies when you have established practices. So today's topic is about our spiritual guidance system, and obviously this is quite technical in energetic complexity. However, it doesn't have to be. because we're all here. Oh, it sounds loud? Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm gonna see if I can turn things down. That kind of sounds like you, oh, okay, thank you. Thank you, Ollie. I thought you said it's loud. See, I don't have my glasses on. Okay. So there is a lot of complexity when it comes to energy. It's not as simple as most people think. We are more than this physical body. And when you get sick or you're ill or you have to go to the doctor, they're always going to take an EKG to check your heart. Why do they do that? Because we are electromagnetic beings. We are running energy. We just have not been taught how to really be the commander of our field. And that lack of information, that lack of knowledge, that lack of connection to your knowing can be problematic. So today we're talking about your spiritual guidance system and really how to tap into it, because one thing is for certain is that religion and spirituality are very different, okay? And they are different for a reason. One has a set of man-made dogmas and stigmas and rules and ways of practicing that are adhering to ways of being that are not necessarily in alignment with how spirituality works. So there are two different ways of experiencing life. They can be, they do and should coexist, but they often don't. And they don't because people get disconnected from their spiritual aspects because they go into their mind. Okay, so, and I was going to title this Intellect Over Spirituality. I just didn't really know what the best term was, but I settled on your spiritual guidance system. But what you think about is not necessarily true. And the lack of discipline that people have on their mind is causing a lot of problems with their spiritual aspects. So this is kind of where I wanted to begin today's discussion, is with this. People on here often ask me for resources like books or web pages, or where can I get more information on this? And I hesitate to give any, first of all, I hesitate to give things that I have not read or done myself, and that I feel cannot mislead people away from themselves. So I always look to give recommendations that, one, lead people back to their own internal knowing, and two, which is always your own guidance system, and two, there is this thing called resonance. And so what I resonate with may not resonate for you, and who am I to make a recommendation for something that I don't know that would be a right fit for you. So you can hear on here that I don't give a lot of website recommendations, and that's purposeful. I don't want to vouch for somebody or something that I do not think has integrity. And I actually got into this quandary the other day due to that. So I used my own personal experience as lessons. I had given somebody a nice recommendation, and at the time I gave the recommendation, it was 100% spot on, and then they showed themselves in a different way. So I gave the recommendation without really knowing them very well. I had very limited experience with them, and then they ended up being mentally unstable and very erratic. And I don't want to take back my recommendation, but it definitely made me, it reminded me why I don't give recommendations. Because people, if you don't have a lot of experience with people in themselves, then you're vouching for them, and then they end up being unstable and unhealthy, and I don't think that's a good practice. So I don't recommend books unless I've read them, and I don't think they're going to, and I believe that they will lead you back into yourself. meaning you're going to do your own work. Nobody's going to do it for you, and nobody's perspective or belief is better than yours, because you are the one who is experiencing you. And I think a lot of people are looking for books that help them discover something, and it leads them outside of themselves. And I want to remind everybody that you are the answer you have been looking for. And the more you become self-aware, the more that you become interested in your own personal development and learning and practicing what you're learning. Hi, Norman. Good to see you here. And the more you become practiced in learning and expanding and knowing within yourself, the foundation will be strong, and you can build on it. So, that's why I don't make recommendations for websites. I've made maybe 1 or 2 on here. Books, I've made 1, maybe 2 on here, maybe 3. It depends in the moment. But everything is that I'm recommending is for you to establish solid practices that you build your own inner connection with God, source energy, creation, creator, whatever word that feels most comfortable to you. Because I also do not want you all to think that you need to follow some type of religion to develop your relationship with God, because that's not true. You have your own spiritual guidance system. And I have been so fortunate to get emails from many of you who have said how you came to know about Kiana and what I do. And, this stuff that I teach is not for everybody. Not everybody's going to resonate with me or my style or my way of teaching, and I'm okay with that. So listen to your own intuition about what I'm going to say. Take what resonates for you and leave the rest behind. So when we're talking about your spiritual guidance system, I specifically want to speak to how to develop it, how to get into contact with it, how to understand it. And it all begins with one step, and this is you dedicating time to practice getting to know yourself. And here's the issue, is that most of you, maybe not all of you, most of you do not know yourselves that well. And so that's why awareness is really important. You know yourself in relationship to maybe an issue or a problem or a challenge, but you don't know who you really are. So part of your spiritual guidance system requires you to know who you are, have self-awareness, have self-leadership, have a practice dedicated to nurturing and knowing yourself, getting to know what you're about, what's real for you, challenging new ideas. You can do that with conscious writing, where you're just writing ideas. You can do this through meditation. You could do this through conscious breathing. You can do this so many different ways. There's not just one. You got to find the one that works and resonates for you on that day, for that period of time, knowing that this is the next one. You will change. When you dedicate yourself to getting to know yourself, to becoming more self-aware, to knowing your likes and your dislikes, knowing what's important to you, knowing what you value, when you know those things with crystal clarity, your life is going to change. 100%. So what resonates for you right now today might be different in the future, in 6 months from now. You might learn something or get rubbed the wrong way about somebody who you thought was the real thing, and then you found that they weren't. There are so many people really trying to do good work out there, but they do not know what they do not know. And there is no one person that knows it all. So, cast a wide net See what resonates, see what feels right. See who's leading you back to yourself. And know that as you become more aware of who you are and you become more self-aware about yourself, then you will change. Your life will change. Every relationship that you are in, whether you're married, divorced, close family, not a close family, every relationship will be impacted by you gaining greater self-awareness, okay? Life changes. Let me just say that life can be humbling. And being humbled kinda is uncomfortable. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's uncomfortable. Change for a lot of people is uncomfortable until you make change a part of your repertoire. You make change part of who you are. You make it one of your shingles. I love change. You know, when you start to love change and changing because you are a conscious creator, you co-create your own reality. So everything that you are experiencing, you have aligned to. And as painful as that might be, it is your responsibility and only yours to change it. So when your life changes, you understand that you are the director of the life, of your life. And I know a lot of you feel like you have not been running at the, what do you call it, at the stern. I don't even know my ship terms. I should know them. I worked around the Navy for so long. Gosh, what do you call that? Sailor's life, help me out here. Is that the stern that drives, you're the captain of your own ship, if you will. You know what I mean. If any of my Navy folks are watching at me, they're going to laugh. At the helm. Doug, thanks. I'm so sorry. All my Navy clients will just be horrified that I just messed that up. However, when you are the captain of your own ship and you at the stern, is it stern or steer? It's not a steer. Anyways, you get the message. When you captain your ship, you are the commander of your field, your energy, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Your life is going to change. Every relationship is going to change. Things are going to come apart. They're going to break down before you break through. Just know that. A breakthrough always happens right at the crux of a breakdown. So many of you are fighting those breakdowns, but sometimes you need to have that breakdown to break through. So don't be afraid of breaking down to get through, because that's the illusion that's crumbling, that the ways you thought things worked is not really working like that. Okay, so that's why it's important to start to learn about the natural laws. And you know, a couple weeks ago, I did it before we got to the elections and things got crazy and I stopped doing it. So I'm going to kick back in the natural laws this week. So anyways, so your life's going to change. Know that it's changing, and you are, Oh, I forgot that they went to these smart ships. Sailor's Life is saying they use joysticks now because they now have something called smart ships. But when I was working with the Navy down on the deck plates, those smart ships weren't really smart. They were not smart enough. So, okay, now I'm dating myself. Okay, let me just stick with the topic. Your life's going to change. The illusions are going to shatter. It's going to be uncomfortable, but get comfortable with discomfort and really set a pattern of practices that you can go to that will help you balance. And that's really what you want to create, is balance between physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. The other important thing about your spiritual guidance system, and this is one of the harder things to develop, but it is possible. And I started to talk about it yesterday. But you want to be neutral. So most of the times when people are growing, they usually swing to one end or the other of the negative ego. So either overinflated ego, I know it all, righteousness, to the underinflated, like the lower ego, low self-esteem, insecure, doubtful, all of that kind of stuff. You want to really work on becoming neutral. And neutrality is about non-attachment. So when you are in this really developing your spiritual guidance system, if the quicker you can adhere to neutrality, that means that you're not attached. It means that you could have a preference of something, but you're not attached to it. You're not attached to your opinions even. So you really want to get to a state of just non-attachment to your ideas, to your beliefs, to the way in which you are walking forward in life. Non-attachment to even people. So as much as I love my husband and I'm happy in my relationship, you know, we have the non-attachment. We're not attached to each other. We are individuals and we come together as two individuals who have decided to create a life together, and we are constantly negotiating that path. Now, he's not dependent on me, I'm not dependent on him, but we are supportive and encouraging of one another, and we negotiate the path. It's a constant, anybody who's in a happy marriage, there's always going to be a negotiation. But when you're neutral, meaning you're just there to be a witness, a supporting witness without attachment, is really where you can grow the fastest spiritually, in my assessment. Getting to neutrality and learning neutrality, I teach that in the first couple sessions. People feel blank. They can't even think. Their thoughts are gone. That's neutrality. Doesn't mean you're going to be blank every time you have a session, but usually by the end of the session, you're feeling blank. That's because when you're working at higher states of consciousness, there is neutrality. Because we don't want to be in attachment, because we cannot have true freedom in attachment. So freedom and peace, they are friends. And they come together with neutrality. So those are the three aspects that I really wanted to focus on. So just to recap, you want to have a focused time for yourself to grow, to evolve, to have self-awareness, to just dedicate to yourself to self-development, essentially. Okay, the second thing that you want to do is understand that life is going to change. When you are connected to your spiritual guidance system, people are going to think you're out of your mind. Okay, people think that people have been telling me that you're so different, Kiana. I have been told I'm different my entire life. I've never met anybody that does work like I do. Even people that say they do what I do. They might call themselves a coach or a consultant, but they don't. You know, they don't do what I do. We all operate differently, and how I do what I do is different than how you're going to do what you do. So really know that when you are following your spiritual guidance, you will do it differently. It's not supposed to all be done the same way. So be okay with life changing. Norman, yes, Kiana, it doesn't matter what other people think. Trust me, I have listened to what other people think. It really doesn't matter. People don't even know what they think anyways, and they don't know why they think what they think. And that's what you learn when you start doing personal development and self-awareness. You must understand, why do you think the way you think? Why do I believe the way I believe? Are those beliefs still relevant to me now, or do they serve to keep me locked into a poverty consciousness? Ask yourself that. And then, of course, neutrality is the main practice. You want to become a compassionate observer, a witnesser, a neutral party to your experiences. And that's how you can begin to become more evolved faster. It'll be fast track. Okay, so I'm going to check in. We don't have crazy spam in the chat today, I see, so I'm going to just see what you guys think about this spiritual guidance system. Any questions, any thoughts, anything that I can share more insight in or share my experience about. Again, always, this is general. Take what works for you, leave the rest behind. And here we go in the chats. XYZ, good to see you back here again. Ollie, great to see you here. Michelle. Okay, Sailor's Life is helping us. Okay, thank you. Okay. Ollie is saying it's so kind for you to share your knowledge. This is, hey, we're all in this together. Unity consciousness is a level of consciousness that everybody can ascribe to. Hello, Sophia. Good to see you. What's your opinion on manifestation? Okay, so that's an interesting question. Manifestation is physical form. So this water is manifestation. And as you guys know, water takes on energy. We are mostly water. So it's programmable. So manifestation is about going from the unmanifest to the manifest. That's it. It's going from non-form to form. That's what my opinion is on it. I don't have an attachment to my opinion. That's how I understand it. What we manifest is determined by how we are signaling. If we're not sure of how we're signaling, all we have to do is look around in our life experience and it will tell you what you're signaling. Now, most people don't understand that our physical body is a resonator. We are resonating frequencies, whether you can hear it or not. We are giving off signals. And manifestation is the form of those signals in alignment or misalignment. And that's kind of what's going on right now. A lot of people do not understand that the law of attraction or the law of correspondence, it's the same law. There's more than one. And so all of the laws are working together. And they're always working in unison, whether you understand that or not. So that's what I have to say about manifestation. So the best way to see how you're manifesting is to see how your experience is in the present moment, and then see if you want to adjust. If you are seeing repeating patterns, that is for you to learn from. If you don't learn, you just continue to repeat. That's how energy works. It repeats in patterns. All energy goes in patterns. I do play with my mind and it's under my control. Well, control is an illusion. But it's good to have mental discipline. And what you want to lean towards is not control, but open sourced. Open sourced, okay? Yes, this is a reminder. I need to drink my water. Thank you, Frederick. Zeal is, I'm a book fanatic. Yes, but every book has a frequency. Every book has a frequency and a signature. And so just be mindful of that. And is this frequency something that is going to lift you up or keep you in the same? That's what I would ask. Is a frequency of this book going to lift me up? And one of the things that most people make a mistake with books is they take in a lot of information. They are focused on information. They like what people are saying. And neutrality is not about liking something, okay? It's not about liking it. It's about learning. And what you're reading, you should be learning and applying. Learning and applying. And if you're taking a book away, like there are some very huge bestsellers out there that are nothing but trash. Trash. And people waste valuable time getting sucked into these books that leave them spinning their wheels in their mind. You don't want to be in your mind. You want to be in your body, and specifically, you want to be in your heart. Hi, Norman. Good to see you here. Hey, Carter. Okay. Stern is the rear of the ship. Well, leadership's always interesting. That's interesting that I say that, because I would teach my leaders that they don't lead from the front. So, Doug, that's funny. Stern is the rear of the ship. And I said, well, the rudders are in the back. So the rudders, so the guy in the front the rudders are always in the back. So maybe I've just got my lingo wrong. But true leadership is being able to give direction, and people will go in that direction without you having to actually pull them. But anyways, the rudders are in the back. That much I know. I did work with the A Gang team, which is the auxiliary group. So I worked more than with them. Okay. Okay. Norman, I was scrolling on YouTube one day and came across you, Kiana, and I'm glad I did. You're a very talented woman. Thank you so much, Norman. I always enjoy hearing how people came to learn about me, but it's okay. You know, I'm on here, I'm on YouTube. Sometimes we have hundreds of people, sometimes we have 10. It doesn't matter. If one person gets any piece of information that is supportive of them growing in consciousness, I am here for it. Leviton says, do you still believe in marriage? And I think, Leviton, that is a great question. And I will say that I think it depends on your circumstance. So my husband, I met in Thailand, and he lived in another country. And in order for us to be together in this country, he and I needed to be married. He couldn't come here and stay here without us being married. So I believe that for us, that was the right next step. I would say in general terms, I do not think that any government agency in any way, shape, or form should be influencing people in love. I don't think you need the government to ordain your marriage in any way, shape, or form to make it legitimate. I think we have spiritual marriages as well, and we take vows, and that is what's most important, not so much the business certificate saying you are married in the state's eyes. So I don't believe in it in that way. I believe that everybody has their own path, and clearly, you know, if we were in the situation that we were in, would we have gotten married when we got married? Probably not. Would we have gotten married maybe eventually? I don't know. You know, it's hard to say. You can't say what you would have done if you didn't have to. But we were in a situation where we needed to make a decision, and neither one of us wanted to not be together. So, sorry, my hair keeps on flipping. So that's where we're at, and we're happy. We got married. It's definitely like every marriage and every relationship, there are challenges, and you work through them. And I do think that we learn a tremendous amount of very challenging lessons when we're in a marriage where communication is something that happens with somebody on a regular basis. And as we know, communication can have its challenges, and a relationship, a marriage is not exempt from any challenges, but nothing that you can't move through. On Kush is saying, could life's obstacles be deliberate recalibrations by our spiritual guidance, subtly steering us? If so, is true freedom found in surrender rather than control? Well, on Kush, that's a really deep question. So I just want to take a moment. Let's just say this, that we have some artificial interference going on our planet, okay? And I don't want to get into that too much, But there are some very artificial, energetic situations that are going on. Similar to, you have organic fruit and you have non-organic fruit. What is the difference between the two? The nutritions. The nutrition, the taste, the complexity, and what it does to your system. So because we have inorganic energies or AI energies running in our energy field, it causes obstacles that are not in alignment with the highest expression of your spiritual self. I think I said that in a very non-confrontational way. I'm very proud of myself. So there's that. I do believe that there are situations that cause us to grow. And oftentimes those are very chaotic situations, which is why I did the video yesterday on chaotic intensity. My situation and how I came to have the spiritual aspects and gifts that I bring to my clients is because I had an inorganic situation that absolutely had to be addressed. And I talk about that in my manipulations video and the secrets to the secret illness. And so I do think that there's a lot of inorganic things happening and we must address them. That's why I recommend pretty much standard, if you guys want to get healthy, you have to do parasite cleanse. Find a parasite cleanse that feels right for you. Whether a doctor tells you you have parasites or not, there are energetic parasites and they do enter through your energy field and they do become physical. If you have been dealing with chronic situations, at the core of most of them is going to be some type of parasitic energy. And there's no escaping doing a parasite cleanse. In my estimation, when you want to grow quickly, that's important. Now, are there lots of them out there? Yeah. Are they all good? No. I think natural's better, herbs better, organic better. But, we all have our own path and what we resonate with. So there's that. Then on Kush, you're saying, is true freedom found in surrender rather than control? In my estimation, true freedom is only found through your connection directly with God, through your heart. That's where true freedom is found and expanded. Surrender is certainly an aspect of alignment with God and creation and source energy for certain. Control is an illusion of the mind, and it's part of the parasitic energies. It's going to be a closed system, right? Control is a closed system. Now, I obviously, I like things done a particular way. I learn a particular way. And control is something we're all having to get better about, because we don't want to control, we don't want to control we can't even control everything. So the fact that we still think we can control, this is really driving me nuts, sorry. The fact that we think that we control everything is the illusion. We are to be in alignment, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Control is the illusion in the mind that thinks that we dictate what's happening. And that really is focused on the physical. That discounts everything that happens in the non-physical, and everything starts in the non-physical. So control is part of the mental conditioning that we got when we were in school, and it actually keeps you going into the hierarchy. And the hierarchy is that somebody's your boss, somebody's your manager, somebody's this, and nobody is the boss of you. Nobody is the boss of your life. And the women who are bossing their husbands around really are doing themselves a disservice. It's one thing to say that you like what you like from your husband, but your husband needs to be a man, and a man needs to be declare his destiny, and you do that in unison with somebody who is in support, and that's freedom. You both are empowered. One person controlling another person, never a good thing. You even thinking that you control yourself when directly you just are a big influencer. So you influence and co-create with creation. Great question. Norman is 54, and the older I get, the more I don't care what people think. Hey, Norman, getting on YouTube, I didn't even think it was possible for me to care less what people think about me. The fact that we just have somebody that just strategically wrote Celine Dion again, and they spelled it incorrectly, I can't even tell you. I have Celine Dion blocked. And these people still say these ridiculous things. Why? I don't care what people say. They take time to invest in nonsense. That's what people think most of the time when they don't have any alignment within themselves. They don't have physical alignment, mental alignment, emotional alignment, spiritual alignment, and then they spew it all over the internet, Norman. Except for you, of course. We have a few of people who don't. So I don't care what other people think. I think it's interesting to see if there's something you need to look at, but for the most part, people think what they want to think, and I'm okay with that. Correct. It's none of their business anyways. Enjoy. I like your name. Ali is saying, Kiana, when you say work to understand the self, to connect with one's soul for spiritual enlightenment, how does one protect oneself during the process from other energy fields? Excellent question, Ali. Your best source of protection is to connect with your heart and to build your relationship with God, source energy, creator energy from your heart, and you will know when it's inorganic as you get more familiar. That is what you want to begin, is to build your spiritual house. And that is the first step. Build that relationship. Connect with your higher self. There's a video on here about your higher self. Connect with your God self and build that inner relationship. Start to listen within. Protection based out of fear actually signals that energy that you don't want. So, my suggestion is to get stronger in your heart connection, and that will strengthen your energy field. So, whatever you do in fear magnifies that energy. So, this idea of protection, the best protection is your connection directly with God, with creation, with creator, because you're a co-creator. So you are identifying with that source energy. That is the best way that I have learned. And I wish somebody would have told me that, because I've always believed in God, but I didn't know that there was so much manipulation. You know, I just didn't know what I didn't know. And now I know, and I learned the hard way. And I'm trying to help you all learn a different way, which is to make that strong connection within. And the more that you connect and develop self-awareness and really create awareness and listening to your internal guidance system, the faster you're going to grow. So that's why having a regular practice every day is so helpful. Thank you, Norman. It's very straight today. Went for the straight look. Thank you. It's so interesting. I came onto this YouTube very differently than I have in the past, and the number of people here have been much less. So I don't know what happened on YouTube, but that's okay. We have good questions here. We can get to a really nice discussion without a bunch of distractions. I've never been manipulated, that you're aware of. I will qualify that zeal. But would you like to know how it feels? But would I like to know how it feels to do. I don't know what your question here is, Zeal, but I would say that to think that you haven't been manipulated when most of humanity has been manipulated is something to look at. And I'm saying that with sincerity, because if you don't know, how do you know? Ollie is saying how to start a basic parasitic cleanse process. I have one on here that I call the smoothie for life, Ollie. You can go look at that. I have the recipe there. It's a lot, but it works. But there are several different kinds out there. So just, start asking around. Do some research on the internet. See what resonates for you. Because I know when I first started, like the things that I came across would have put me in the hospital. Like I was so incredibly sensitive that the approaches that people were doing, although they thought they were gentle, like I knew that they would have put me in the hospital. I would have had like a chaotic reaction to what the average person could do with no problem. For me, would have been catastrophic. So definitely listen to your body, Ollie, and look and see. Your body will not resonate with some forms out there. You might not even resonate with the smoothie for life. So definitely listen to your body. You are the captain of your body, and see what resonates. There are so many different things out there. You're in a different part of the world than I am, so you might have access to some really holistic things that are not even available in the United States. Usually herbs are a big part of a parasitic cleanse of some kind. Oftentimes enemas are a part of a parasitic cleanse because parasites leave eggs in your colon, your small intestine. And that's why so many people have problems with their immune system. And it's not always what the doctor says it is. Doctors are doing what's called medical practice. They're practicing on you. So you are the one that determines whether you want to move forward or not. So you are empowered. That's intention, that's consent and authority. Really be mindful. That's another practice. Be mindful of what you are giving your consent to. Okay. Release the Hound says, we cannot control what happens around us and what happens to others, but we can control what we do. We certainly have influence, and what is happening in our experience is for us to learn from. Are we learning? Did I learn everything I needed to learn from yesterday? If not, what do I need to learn? I mean, every day, did I learn everything I needed to? Jonathan, I don't know who that is. Sophia, I find it interesting how different people react to things, what they are drawn to investigate and exact. Yeah, we all have different resonance. And I know what I resonate with. My husband doesn't resonate with a lot of it when I start. And then maybe like a year later, he's like becomes a little bit more interested. We all have different paces. We all have different lessons. We all have a different journey. And it's really about aligning. Ali says, thank you so beautifully. You have set up the first step to protect and remove fear during this process. Yes, Ali. Oh, Zeal is asking, how does it feel to get manipulated? It's a humbling experience. It will take your ego, and you thought it was this way, and you understand it when you learn down here and you think, oh my God, I got it wrong. It feels like you made a mistake to get manipulated. And then it's just about learning. And then you think, oh, I trusted this person and I shouldn't have. and then you didn't learn. And so you have another manipulation that follows right behind that. And it's one right after another after another. It's a humbling experience that will kick you out of the ego mind, but it will bring you into the lower aspects of ego, which allows you to be controlled more easily. That's why it's so important to understand manipulation and to understand the ego, how the ego works. You want to understand how to disidentify from the ego, because the ego will keep you thinking things that are truth, they're really a lie. The ego will believe what people say, like government agencies and doctors, over your own understanding and awareness. We saw this a lot with the pandemic, right? A lot of people believed what they heard. And there's a lot of different information out there now, 4 years later. So being manipulated can cause emotional fracturing, mental fracturing, and spiritual fracturing, soul fracturing. There's a lot of fractures that can happen with manipulation, and it can be a trauma. So manipulation is very much like a trauma. Everybody experiences it different. Zeal says, I catch people easily if they're exploiting me. Good for you. It's good to have awareness. It's good to know your skills. But what are your blind spots? Go find those, Zeal. Go find your blind spots. Okay, Ali says, thank you, Kiana, for the smoothie recipe. I'll check it out and surely work around to do my best in research. Thank you. Yes, Ali, you are very welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Everybody that joined in today, we're just about at an hour. If there's no other questions, I'll jump off here. I'm on here every day for this Being in Sync 366 video series. If you are watching the replay, please let me know. Let me know you're here. I love it. I love helping. Sophia is saying during the situation, global situation, it was a huge difference between natural healing network information and the mainstream. Yes, I would also say, like, I've been working with natural remedies since I was a little girl. So homeopathics, flower essence, I've always worked in those realms and aligned with them. And a lot of those businesses here in the United States went out of business or they got targeted. So yeah, I agree. There's lots of information out there. Not a lot of it is very comfortable to watch. And even I have had clients that will tell me, hey, Kiana, stop sending me information. It's too uncomfortable. And, you know, we have, and I stop sending information because, you know, people don't want to know. And it's okay to not want to know. But when you're in a position of authority, when you are actually influencing people to physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual alignment, like a lot of people do, and you're giving advice and it's misinformed, there's karmic repercussions to that. So I always say the more information you have, the better. And then if it doesn't resonate, people will just throw it away. Okay. Did you ever get gaslight? Yeah, the other day. The other day, hey, Aya, the other day, the lady I told you, I gave her a recommendation and I didn't realize how unstable she was. And she gaslit me. I was like, okay. And I was just like, I can't believe she's gaslighting me right now. And I just laughed. And I said, I went into immediately, what do I need to learn from this? And thank you for showing me who you are. You know, I didn't get mad at her. Nothing. I mean, I was glad I saw her. And you want to see who people are. When people are gaslighting other people, your job is to not get prepared to armor up to be with them. Get strong enough to where you don't even have them in your life because they show you they can't stand in your integrity. And that's where I suggest people get, but not everybody's there. People think they can be around sick people without being impacted, and that's just not true. Like I said, energetic parasites, and they transfer from one person to another person. And if you all haven't looked at nanoparticles and start to get savvy about what that information is, it's important to get savvy. Know how energy transfers. Energy comes in waveforms. You don't need to see a waveform to know there's a waveform. You can feel it. You can feel fear, and that fear carries waveforms, okay? Zeal is asking, how did it feel for me? Well, I wish I didn't give her the recommendation, but it was just how I started the call today. I wish I didn't give her the recommendation, but I'm not going to go take my recommendation back. I'm just not going to make recommendations to others. People resonate who they resonate with. And it was only when I told my friend who I had referred to this person, and this is just another person who does body work here. And it's not anybody I would put on the internet here and say, go read her book. It's not that kind of referral. And she actually, after I told her what happened, how crazy the situation was, my friends told me what happened with her. So it wasn't just me. So how did it feel? I felt grateful to see her. I felt grateful to see and not get hooked in to a longer relationship with somebody who's unstable. Okay, do you have a practice you could share that would help us move towards this? Move towards what? I'm not sure, Sophia, what you're asking. Do I have I have lots of practices. None of them will, I don't know if they would resonate or not, but what do you mean a practice that I could share that would move you towards what? Just one more question. How do numbers resonate with spirituality? Well, everything spiritually and the non-physical is working off of codes, okay? Codes, symbols, numbers, light language. So it's not coming up in the language that I was just thinking, like English, for example. Everything is, a lot of it works off of numbers and codes. And so that's how it resonates. Those are going to be codes. And sometimes you need to unlock codes. Sometimes you need to unlock portals. Sometimes you need to unlock, and there's our codes that are being exchanged, if you will. I hope that helps. So numbers, there's a lot of people that are really into astrology and all of that, but that's not something I'm proficient in. I don't spend a lot of time on that. I don't align with the lunar energies, and I would suggest other people look at them, but it's really ingrained in lots of humanity is a lot of lunar programming, you know, lunar around the moons and the full moons and the new moons and blah, 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 blah. I'm more aligned to the sun and light. When I spend time in the Middle East, a lot of friends have advice to go for homeopathic, okay? Chinese medicine and acupressure. Excellent. Any one of those, Ali, would be able to guide you towards some type of parasite cleanse. Homeopathic remedies would definitely be helpful for any kind of ailments. I love homeopathy. I have tried some Chinese medicine and acupuncture, and it worked and for a while. So this is, again, resonate. It didn't resonate for me always, and it's really hard to find good practitioners. That's what I would say. So find one that you resonate with, that leads you back to you being the answer. You are the answer that you've been looking for. So you want to understand how you're signaling. You want to understand what you resonate with. And to say I don't resonate with something and not understand why you don't resonate, and not to ask deeper questions as what beliefs do I have that keep me from believing in God? What beliefs do I have that make me think that I don't want to use the language of God? those Jesus, those things, those reactions that you have, that's data. Okay? You don't want to judge the data, but you do want to ask questions. Why? Because I know for me, when I would go to church, I would hear people say certain words, and I am like, it was almost like nails on the chalkboard for me. And what I learned is that there's a whole energy about Antichrist. I've always sensed it, but I didn't know there was a name for it. That's the name, and it's demonic. Okay, here's my little. Hello, Aya. Thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting. I'm so glad that you're here and you're enjoying our chat. Zeal is saying, I don't know how to spot a gaslighter. If you know how, could you convey? Their reality is going to be different than yours. You're going to have polar opposites of the same situation. There's going to be a huge polarity there. And the gaslighter is going to be more like a weasel. They're always going to try and get their way out. And their way is the way. Sophie is saying the spiritual, non-thinking, non-judging self. Well, we want to use critical thinking, Sophia. It's a lost art, but we do want to use critical thinking. We want to be asking questions. We want to ask, why do I believe what I believe? Farhan is saying, I only believe in God. Beautiful. Well, I'm sure you have other beliefs about God that probably need to be questioned, but believing in God is good. Amazing, a wonderful evening, very enlightening and empowering. Thank you, Kiana. It's really helpful to start this journey. Beautiful. Michelle is saying, I'm in Costa Rica and we use dragon's blood down here. Well, dragon's blood is very popular. I would wonder what you mean about the source of that dragon's blood. Are you talking about incense, tree resin? I think that's what you're talking about. And that won't get rid of parasites from what I understand. It won't even touch it. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to, Michelle. And if so, definitely look at another resource. Yeah, I don't think that that's going to clear or even touch a parasite or the eggs. Because when you're doing a parasite cleanse, you don't only want to clear the parasite, but you need to clear all the imprints, all the residue, and then also the eggs, because they leave eggs. And so it's a process. It's not an easy process. A practice to get observant self. Ooh. Well, okay, Sophia, that is a great one. I wonder, should I bring that into tomorrow's session? How to become a master observer. I was thinking about that. How practices to be observant of self. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. That's tomorrow. I'm going to write that down. And observant self. I like how you wrote that, Sophia. Okay, that's going to be what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. The observant self practices specifically. Because I always say it's good to be a master observer. But you're stating it as becoming an observer of self. So how to create greater self-awareness. Is that what I'm understanding, Sophia? I think so. Hi, Eric. Good to see you here, my friend. I feel like you all are my friends. My friends. Hello, Joking Gamer. Yes, learning about space is interesting, but we humans cannot go beyond the limits. Well, I would say we're limitless. And so I would say, Zeal, that's a belief that you have about limitation. So go find them. Yes, tree resin. Okay, that's what I thought, Michelle. Yeah, Michelle, definitely. Tree resin is good for clearing space, but it's not going to clear your energy field of parasites. It's not going to clear your physical body of parasites, as far as I can tell. I'm just going to see. Yeah, I get a hard no on that. Turmeric is excellent. Excellent. There was a time, I mean, turmeric is like hugely important for clearing, but turmeric in and of itself isn't going to get the job done. So yes, turmeric, super good for the body, very helpful, but you're gonna need multiple things for getting all of the things. You understand what I mean? Eczema gets worse at night. There's so many different things for eczema, but what I can tell you is a lot of people have trouble with skin. The skin is the largest organ on the body. So, and it's also the most, it's a barrier, right? It's our protection, but we don't often spend time protecting our protection, if you will, like nurturing it. So for example, in Ayurvedic healthcare, like I put oils on my body before I take a shower. So I'm really, that my barrier is healthy and strong. So does everybody do that? No, I didn't even know to do that until like probably 5 years ago. So you learn as you go. But if I had skin issues, I would look at addressing your liver and your kidney processing, because somehow the toxins are not cleansing. So that's what I would look at personally, and that's from my own experience. But go look at thenaturallaws.com. I feel confident in recommending that because I'm in that movie, and it's on Amazon. And it's a nice introduction to Ayurveda care. And you can see and learn a variety of practices. And you can get other resources for how to interpret your body wisdom. And that's a medicine that actual medicine was founded on, only it's gone off the rails. Sophia's saying, to help become the master observer, like you said, it's very important to observe the inner self. Okay, so tomorrow it is. We have our topic for tomorrow. Zeal is saying, I take allergy pills. Well, I would go look at some of the side effects to things that are over the counter. Might have some really harsh, detrimental impacts on your brain. So go look at that. Who says? I don't believe that anybody says there's no cure. So the Zeal, this is a good example right here of limited beliefs. You all are seeing it. Zeal as being a very open book for us here to learn from. So thank you, Zeal. But this is what limitation looks like. There's no cure. That is a belief. Go find all your beliefs that are limiting you, Zeal. Yes, that's a belief. That's a limiting belief. So if you believe there's no cure, then it's not going to cure. So there's no possibilities in a closed system. Y'all, this is what I was talking about. This is a closed system. Thank you so much, Zeal, for showing us this. But this is what a closed system in the mind looks like. So you read all these books, but your beliefs are what drive your potentials. So when we're talking about being a co-creator, creation is stopped through your beliefs, okay? Through your limitations. Beautiful example, Zeal. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I hope that this is helpful for you and that you're not taking it personally. They always say there's no, yes, but I mean, they told me with my issue, like they didn't even know what the hell to do with me because they hadn't even seen anything like that. Why hadn't they seen what I presented? Because nobody comes with the data. I had the data because I had to go get my own testing because they don't even test for heavy metals. They do not test for heavy metals. And I was really I mean, when you do heavy metal testing, you should see my test. Go look at the secret illness. I talk about my path. And essentially, if you have what I had, because I no longer had it, and they said it's impossible, it wasn't impossible. They just didn't know how. And they don't know how because our medical system does not really fully understand health care. Okay? Medical care and health care, those are two different systems, two different ways. So you got to really understand our belief system drives our potential. Okay? Our beliefs are the matrix. It's just one of many, many, many matrix. There is more than one matrix, and there are many matrices. Your belief system is what's going to keep you limited from co-creating with creation. Okay? We are co-creators. And TCM saying TCM is really good with skin diseases. I don't even know what that is. Meditation. Meditation, yeah, finding peace and calm, right? Because our skin is going to react if our nervous system is overactive. How many people know how to turn off their nervous system? I've never met one client that knew how to keep their nervous system in check. They didn't know until they knew. Hey, Greg, you're late to the game, but it's always good to see you. I was just going to jump off here. I was going off on a rant. We just came up with tomorrow's topic. Tomorrow's topic is going to be observing the self and having practices to do so. So my work is cut out for me. Well, I really had fun talking with you all. I have to get prepared for my next session. If you guys are interested in what I do, you can find more information at Kiana.com. You already know that. I come on here every day and talk about something different in alignment with the natural laws. Hey, Mike. Oh, a lot of latecomers today. All along with the natural laws. Tomorrow's topic, we have a good one. Thank you so much, Sophia, for chiming in. I love seeing you all on here. I love having meaningful discussions. It really is my joy to have meaningful discussions. So tomorrow we're going to talk about being a master observer of yourself, and I'm going to see how many different practices I can bring to the table tomorrow. I'll probably do tomorrow afternoon session. So it won't be at the same time. I'm going to do probably around 3 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock tomorrow. Because I found if I go later than that, I mentally am not as sharp. So you got to know, that's a good thing for you guys to know. You got to know your zones. What are your sweet spots of working and when you're on the ball. Okay, y'all. I appreciate you thoroughly. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for jumping on, Greg. Sailor's Life, thank you for helping in the chat. Mike, good to see you. Norman, good to see you too. All you all, Eric, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye. Have a great day.